Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another engaging session on reading comprehension. Now, before we get down to reading the passage, as always, I'll just give you a quick brief about what is going to be the theme of today's passage. The passage is very, very interesting. It is somewhat revolving around the transformative and disruptive impact of technological advancement and how this specific advancement is basically bringing about some sort of an automation in the modern labor market. The topic is pretty interesting. We are somewhere talking about a couple of terms like structural flexibility. We are talking about cost efficiency. We are talking about the demands of labor, traditional labor, a lot of things that you may have come across or heard the terms in your daily life, right? So let us dive into the passage and understand the other nuances and details. The proliferation. Now, what do you mean by the term proliferation? Proliferation is when we are talking about something that is very widespread. The proliferation of self-checkout system in retail establishments is one specific illustration of how advances in technology are having an effect on the labor market. In many retail establishments, the need for human cashiers has been eliminated thanks to the introduction of automated systems. I'm sure this is not anything that we are not very well aware of. This is a very common thing that is happening if you go to any big store nowadays. You have the provision of self checkout, right? So the first two, three lines are basically talking about as to how the technology has somewhere eliminated or probably reduced the need for human cashiers. Customers no longer need the assistance of a cashier in order to scan and pay for the items they purchase. Despite the fact that this technology makes shopping more conveniently and saves times for consumers, it has led to a decrease in the demand for cashier positions. Retailers are increasingly adopting self checkout systems, which has resulted in the displacement of a large number of cashiers who previously relied on these roles for employment. Retailers are being driven by the desire to save money and improve productivity. So basically, nothing very rocket science about the first paragraph. We are talking about as to how there is some sort of a replacement of labor. In specific, the scenario where we are talking about retailing, and we are talking about the fact as to how the cashiers are now being replaced because of the booming technology or the advances in technology. And at the same time, it is something that's very beneficial for the retailer, but very harmful for the cashier. Another prominent example lies in the transportation industry, where autonomous vehicles are poised to transform the labor market. Companions like Tesla, Google's Waymo, and Uber are investing heavily in developing self driving technology. While autonomous vehicles offer the promise of enhanced safety and efficiency on roads, they also have the potential to disrupt the livelihood of millions of truck drivers, taxi drivers, and delivery drivers. So, again, what are we doing in this particular paragraph? We are exemplifying the concept that has been stated in the preceding paragraph, right? So we are here giving the examples of the truck drivers, the taxi drivers, and the delivery drivers. As self driving technology advances and becomes more reliable, it is expected that the need for human drivers will diminish. We're not talking about elimination, we are talking about the fact it is going to diminish significantly, potentially leading to a substantial job losses within the transport sector. Now, here we were talking about the cashiers, that is, we are talking about the self checkout system. Here we are talking about the fact as to how the transportation industry is now looking out for some sort of autonomous vehicles, whereby you are diminishing or eliminating the requirement for truck drivers, taxi drivers, and delivery drivers. The effects of automation are not uniformly felt across all industries and tiers of technical expertise. It is not something that is very ubiquitous. The manufacturing industry offers a compelling example of this phenomenon. Over the course of the last few decades, the use of industrial robots on factory floors has become increasingly commonplace. So, what do you mean by the term commonplace? Commonplace is something that's very mundane or something that's very routine. As a result of these machines' ability to perform labor intensive and repetitive tasks with speed and accuracy, the number of human workers required in assembly lines can be reduced. What is an assembly line? Assembly line is where lots and lots of workers are there, and they basically have to assemble a component or a part of a particular product, and they are just mechanically doing their work. That is known as an assembly line. As a direct consequence of this, the factory workers who were to significant job displacement. The automation of manufacturing process has resulted in formerly in charge of activities such as welding, assembly, and packaging have been subjected to the loss of certain jobs and has made it necessary to acquire new skills in order to maintain one's relevance in the ever shifting employment landscape. So, obviously, here also we are talking about the fact as to how these labor intensive and repetitive jobs were now being done by the robots. Accuracy is there, the speed is there, right? So, what are we talking about at the end? That there are a couple of jobs in the field of manufacturing which require you to upgrade your skills if you want to be working there and if you want that your relevance should be felt in the employment landscape, right? Moreover, technological advancements has also given rise to the gig economy. Gig, if I am to explain something in a very easy concept, it is going to be something that is very freelancing types, which has further transformed the labor market. Online platforms and mobile applications have made it easier for individuals to participate in freelance work, creating opportunities for flexible employment. For instance, platforms like Uber, Lyft, and TaskRabbit allow individuals to provide transportation services, run errands, and offer various skills on demand. While this flexibility can be advantageous for certain individuals seeking a supplement income or flexible work schedule, it also brings about challenges in terms of job security and stability. So I may have the freedom of working as a freelancer, but the whole concept of having a job security and stability is something that becomes compromised. Gig workers are often classified as independent contractors, meaning that they do not have access to the same benefits and protections as traditional employees, such as healthcare, retirement plans, or paid time off. This lack of social protection leaves the gig workers vulnerable to income volatility and financial insecurity. So, somewhere in this particular paragraph, we are talking about the downside of freelancing or the gig economy, right? So that is what the passage is all about. There is a particular concept which is revolving around the labor market, talking about automation, how it is coming over in various industries. But it is something that cannot be generalized. At the same time, we are given one specific example of freelancing, where freelancing might be a very new kind of a concept in the labor market, but it definitely does have its own downsides. So the passage wasn't very, very difficult. It was very easy, very factual. Now, coming to the questions of the particular passage, let us look at the questions. If you look at the first question, which of the following is not an assumption made in the second paragraph? Now, first we need to understand what is an assumption. Assumption का मतलब होता है कोई भी ऐसा unstated fact जो आपको कहीं ना कहीं conclusion के towards लेके जा रहा है, right? So, which of the following is not an assumption made in the second paragraph? So, this is a paragraph specific question, easy in terms of the approach. A says company like Tesla, Google's Waymo, and Uber will advance autonomous vehicle technology for widespread use. ये हो सकता है. क्यों हो सकता है? क्योंकि we have been told about the fact that they have started investing in heavily developing self-driving technology. अब अगर इतना heavy investment कर रहे हैं, तो कहीं ना कहीं it is going to be for a very widespread use. It cannot be something that's very personal. So this could be the correct assumption. The proliferation of autonomous vehicles would have lesser impact on numerous professions than truck drivers, taxi drivers, and delivery drivers. Are we talking about any sort of an impact that it is going to have? He says that the author says the proliferation, or this question says the proliferation of autonomous vehicles would have a lesser impact on numerous professions than truck drivers, taxi drivers, and delivery drivers. First of all, we are just talking about the autonomous vehicles. We are nowhere. The paragraph is just focusing on how self-driving technology is going to disrupt the driving related livelihoods. How is it going to impact the other professions, the other line of people who are working in some or the other kind of a sector? We have not been told any cross-sector analysis about any cross-sector analysis or how the self-automated industry is basically going to, or the self-driving technology is basically going to impact the other industries. हमें सिर्फ एक चीज के बारे में बोला गया है, दैट इज कि जो आपके टैक्सी ड्राइवर्स हैं, ट्रक ड्राइवर्स हैं, डिलीवरी ड्राइवर्स हैं, इनके ऊपर क्या इम्पैक्ट पड़ेगा. So this is not an assumption. So this will be the correct answer. Let us look at the other answer choices. At least some global regulatory bodies will approve the use of autonomous vehicles on public roads as technology advances. अब ये कहाँ पे हम कैसे इस चीज को अज्यूम कर सकते हैं, राइट? इसका मतलब क्या है? क्योंकि हम लोगों को यहाँ पे किन किन कंपनीज का नाम दे रखा, कौन से बिग ब्रांड्स का नाम दे रखा है. वी हैव बीन टोल्ड अबाउट टेस्ला, वी बीन टोल्ड अबाउट गूगल, वी बीन टोल्ड अबाउट उबर. So we know that there are certain regulatory bodies, specifically when we are talking about bodies like Google, or when we are talking about Tesla. So that means even here also we are talking about the fact, while autonomous vehicles offer the promise of enhanced safety and efficiency on roads, they also have the potential to disrupt the livelihood of millions of truck drivers. So that means if they are offering the promise of enhanced safety and efficiency and supported by companies like Tesla, Google's Waymo, and Uber, so that means that they will eventually have some sort of a support in form of a global regulatory body. These are all global brands and names, right? जो कहीं ना कहीं इसको अप्रूव करेंगे, तभी तो इतना पैसा लगा रहे हैं. तो ये भी हमारी एक अजम्पशन हो सकती है. अजम्पशन जो है वो कभी भी डायरेक्टली स्टेटेड नहीं होती है. इट इज जस्ट अ कनेक्टिंग डॉट दैट टेक्स यू फ्रॉम द प्रिमाइस टू द conclusion, right? So what are your premises? They are basically the evidences, the stated facts given by the author. What is an assumption? That is the unstated fact that you have to assume by looking at the conclusion and the evidence, and it is acting like a connecting dot between the two. Truck drivers, taxi drivers, and delivery drivers could be fully replaced by automation without significant job creation. Could be बोला है, तो हो सकता है. क्यों? क्योंकि इट इज एक्सपेक्टेड, लास्ट लाइन में बोला दैट द नीड विल डिमिनिश सिग्निफिकेंटली. उसने ये नहीं बोला कि दे विल बी एलिमिनेटेड, दे आर गोइंग टू बी डिमिनिश्ड. तो ये भी हमारी अजम्पशन बनती है. सो जो हमारा अजम्पशन नहीं बन रहा है, दैट इज गोइंग टू बी ऑप्शन नंबर बी. सो द करेक्ट आंसर फॉर क्वेश्चन नंबर 13 is option number B. Coming to the next question, that is question number 14. What is the main point of the last paragraph? A बोलता है गिग वर्कर्स हैव लेसर बेनिफिट्स. ये है मेन पॉइंट. ये सिर्फ एक सब पॉइंट है. लेसर बेनिफिट्स क्यों नहीं है? क्योंकि हम लोगों को इस पूरे पैराग्राफ में क्या बता रखा है? वी आर आउटलाइनिंग द पॉजिटिव साइड. What was the positive side? Flexibility, ease of finding freelancing job, or probably some sort of a supplemental income. What are the stark negatives? There are no traditional employment benefits, income volatility बहुत ज्यादा है, and job security नहीं है. तो double edged sword है basically, right? तो ये बेनिफिट्स तो बाद में आते हैं. पहले मेरे को ये बताना कि मेन पॉइंट क्या, गिग इकोनॉमी का एग्जाम्पल क्यों दिया है. वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द फैक्ट कि कहीं ना कहीं इट हैज ट्रांसफॉर्म द लेबर मार्केट. ऑल्सो वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट कि किस तरह से ये इकोनॉमी जो है बहुत बेटर जो बेनिफिट्स है वो हमें दे रही है. ठीक. लेकिन एट द सेम टाइम व्हाट आर वी टॉकिंग अबाउट मेजरली? वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द बोथ द पॉजिटिव्स एज वेल एज द नेगेटिव. सिर्फ लेसर बेनिफिट्स की बात नहीं की है, प्रॉफिट की भी बात की है. अगर हम देखें गिग वर्कर्स हैव लेसर बैरियर्स, बट पूरा पैराग्राफ सिर्फ यही थोड़ा ना एग्जाम्प्लीफाई कर रहा है कि लेसर बैरियर्स हैं. Gig economy is a technological outcome. Of course, it is, but that is not the main point. So, the main point is that since we are talking about the positives, since we are talking about the negatives of the gig economy, it becomes a double edged sword, right? So, the correct answer for question number 14 is option number B. Now, coming to this question, which of the following, if true, will not strengthen the arguments presented in the first paragraph? नॉट स्ट्रेंथन बोला है, यानी कि 3 स्ट्रेंथन करेंगे, एक उसको वीकन करेंगे. ठीक है. अब हम लोगों को फर्स्ट पैराग्राफ में बताया किस चीज के बारे में है? सेल्फ चेकआउट सिस्टम के बारे में बताया है. ए बोलता है A 2022 study by the National Retail Federation found that stores with self-checkout systems reduce their labor cost by an average of 30%. ये तो स्ट्रेंथन कर रहा है. स्ट्रेंथन कैसे कर रहा है? जो यहाँ पे बोला है कि उनका जो इन्वेस्टमेंट है इन टर्म्स ऑफ द नंबर ऑफ कैशियर्स, ऑब्वियसली अगर मुझे एम्प्लॉयमेंट देनी ही नहीं है तो मेरा पैसा तो बच रहा है. आई एम सेविंग मनी एंड आई एम इम्प्रूविंग माई प्रोडक्टिविटी बिकॉज पीपल आर डूइंग द वर्क that the cashiers are supposed to do. So I save upon the cost of the cashier. So this is strengthening the particular question. According to the results of a survey, customers prefer the option of self-checkout because it is more time and effort efficient. So option number B भी कहीं ना कहीं जो है strengthen कर रहा है. This is also talking about the fact as to why not only the employers but even the people who are coming there, they are also preferring, the customers are also preferring a self-checkout system क्योंकि उनके लिए time and effort बचता है. The self-checkout systems in retail stores rely on technology but also on the honesty of customers to operate effectively. So ये strengthen नहीं कर रहा है. This is something that is going to be weakening the argument. क्योंकि ये वाला पॉइंट आपका क्या बोल रहा है कि इफ वी आर टॉकिंग और इफ वी आर रिलाइंग ऑन द ऑनेस्टी ऑफ द कस्टमर, अगर मेरी ऑनेस्टी कॉम्प्रोमाइज्ड है तो मेरा ये जो सिस्टम है ऑफ अ सेल्फ चेकआउट ये काम ढंग से कर ही नहीं सकता. So this is going to be the correct answer. Here we are not completely relying on technology, but also on the honesty of the customer. And if my honesty is compromised, I would not be able to efficiently do checkout, which defeats the whole purpose of a self-checkout system. So this is the one that is not strengthening the argument. An academic research paper demonstrates that self-checkout machines can handle customer interaction faster. ये भी एक उसका benefit है, तो ये भी strengthen कर रहा है. So the correct answer for question number 15 is option number C. It is not strengthening, it is weakening. Coming to question number 16, each of the following can be inferred from the passage except that in the manufacturing industry. Now this is again a paragraph specific question. हमारे को second paragraph में पूरा manufacturing industry के बारे में बात की, right? अब each of the following can be inferred from the passage except A बोलता है there exists job opportunities for skilled labor even though there is a considerable impact of automation on jobs. Yes, this is very correctly stated. जहां उन्होंने बोला है कि अगर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेक्टर में आपने रहना है तो अपनी स्किल्स को एक्वायर करो, नई स्किल्स को, एंड जो करंट वाली स्किल्स है उसकी रेलेवेंस के हिसाब से अपने आप को एम्प्लॉयमेंट लैंडस्केप में एडजस्ट करें. Technological advancement, specifically industrial robots, has progressed significantly over the past few decades. ये भी बोला है. That is why assembly line में अब manual labor की बजाय आपके robots काम कर रहे हैं because they are efficient in terms of the time also. Different types of jobs that require various levels of expertise are affected by automation in different ways. ये भी हम लोगों को इस पैराग्राफ के बिगनिंग में दे रखा है कि the effects of automation are not uniform. They are not uniformly felt across the various stratas and sections. There is a considerable decrease in low-skilled manual jobs across all tiers and sections within the industry. ये कहीं पे भी नहीं बोला है कि there is a considerable decrease in low-skilled manual jobs. क्योंकि हम लोगों को सिर्फ ये एक sweeping term है. हमें पैराग्राफ कैटेगोरिकली ये बोल रहा है कि these effects are not felt uniformly across all industries and tiers. तो मैं कैसे इस पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट को बोल सकती हूँ कि एक कंसिडरेबल डिक्रीज देखने को मिला है. So the correct answer for question number 16 is going to be option number D. Now this passage was a typical medium difficulty level. I would rather say that not even medium, it was something that was falling between easy and medium difficulty level. And because it was something that was related to economics, it was related to something that is talking about the labor market. These questions generally, or these passages generally, are not very difficult in temperament to be attempted because they are somewhere revolving around statistics, data, or a concept which is elaborately expressed by the author in the passage, and hence the questions become very easy to be attempted. So hopefully I'll see you with a difficult passage in the next class, probably related to philosophy or geography, or maybe from some other field of study or science. Since we are progressing towards the D date, now the discussion of the passages probably might get slightly intermediate from the basics that we have done till so far. So keep yourself geared up, and hopefully I'll see you again in some more engaging sessions related to the reading comprehension. Thank you.